Hello people, my name is Isaac. I'm a Muay Thai fighter and entrepreneur. I live in Thailand. People are always asking me about how to move to Thailand, how to choose a Muay Thai gym, where in Thailand to live, how to find accommodation, how to make money online. So what I have done is basically just write everything down and make this video for you guys. So yeah, we're going to cover literally any sort of question you could have about training Muay Thai in Thailand. And if for some reason I haven't answered your question, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you in the comments. So yeah, okay, let's get started. Section number one, why you should train in Muay Thai in Thailand. I mean, if you're watching this video, I feel like you want to train Muay Thai in Thailand, so I'll maybe keep this section a bit brief. But look, training Muay Thai in Thailand, it's got some benefits, of course, such as it's really authentic Muay Thai. It's a holistic, it's an immersive experience that it really goes beyond just the physical aspects of the sport. When you're in Thailand, it really encapsulates the cultural and the traditional elements of Muay Thai, and you really get a good understanding of what Muay Thai is at its absolute core. You also, of course, get really world-class training. Thai fighters and coaches, they've lived and breathed Muay Thai since childhood. So yeah, you're really getting a real wealth of knowledge and a keen understanding of the sport's intricacies. You also have the opportunity to train like a professional athlete would. It's full-time professional training. You get to train twice a day, 6 times a week, 6 days a week. So it's a real routine of a professional fighter, and it's not really possible in your home country unless you're really lucky and your gym has many classes. But typically back in the UK, in America, you only really get to train once a day. And yeah, when you're in Thailand, you get to train twice a day. And of course, in your home country, you have to hold pads. But in Thailand, you'll never hold pads. The trainers will hold pads for you. So yeah, I mean, those are the benefits of training in Thailand. I can go on for hours and hours about that. But I do want to give you guys a reality check. I mean, I think people see on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, I guess, that they're seeing all the positives about training Muay Thai in Thailand. But I mean, look, it's not all rainbows. One thing I really want to stress to people is that the training is extremely unscientific. The emphasis is really on consistent, high volume training rather than structured, scientific methodology. And Thais are really accustomed to this rigorous training, like every day. And this means that they don't really recognize the signs of overtraining. Some trainers might just accuse you of being lazy if you're actually overtrained. So really take that into account and listen to your body. I also want to caution you guys on tourist traps. So choosing the wrong gym can be detrimental. Some of these gyms I've seen on Instagram they're not prioritizing your development as a fighter. They just want you to be another number. They just care about money. So yeah, you really need to watch out for those gyms. And then finally, self-responsibility. So look, at the end of the day, it's up to you. Going to Thailand is not going to make you into an amazing fighter overnight. You need to be coachable and you need to be disciplined and you need to be consistent. You have to put the work in every single day. Thailand can be a real great platform for you to get better as a fighter, as a person, as an athlete, but you still got to put the work in and yeah, just take some self-responsibility for your training. So where should you train? Well, I'm going to break down the main areas, the most popular areas to train Muay Thai in Thailand. And of course, we've got to start off with Bangkok. So look, Bangkok, it's got the best gyms in the world and the best fighters. They all train in Bangkok. They're not necessarily from Bangkok, but that's where the best gyms are and that's where they train. And yeah, look, you can really experience the grind of being like a top level fighter if you train in Bangkok. The best promotions in the world, of course, they're based in Bangkok. RWS, One, Petchindi, Bangkok. There's also some lower level opportunities. So you can fight at Raja Knockout or Fairtex Fight, and they're good level. But I do want to stress this about Bangkok. If you're not at a high level and you're at a high level gym, you might struggle because they might not care about you. Like, they've got these one fighters, they've got these RWS fighters, they've got these fighters who are fighting on the top shows in Pek Shindi. If you're just a beginner, you're not really going to get that personalized attention that you kind of deserve and need to develop as a fighter. So I really want you to take that into account if you're thinking about starting off in Bangkok and your level is not that high. Also, Bangkok is pretty congested, it's pretty polluted. So yeah, just take that into account as well. So look, I guess my overall opinion is, if you're a high level fighter, Bangkok's the place for you. But if you're just starting out, I think start your journey somewhere else. And yeah, if you go straight to Bangkok, you're really missing out on some opportunities to build fight experience. Because on these bigger platforms and these bigger shows, you can't really fight like every week. But if you're in Chiang Mai, you're in Isan, even in the south, like, you can really fight every single week. Obviously, injuries are a major factor, but yes, it's much better to gain experience in these like regional shows in the regions. So that takes me nicely to the second place I want to talk about, Chiang Mai. So Chiang Mai, it's where I live, and yeah, Chiang Mai, look, it provides some really diverse training options, and yeah, the nature's really nice. It's a really beautiful city. It's very chill, and yeah, I mean, I really do recommend it. There's a lot of good gyms with some high level trainers. Yeah, some really good trainers. That being said, there's some unserious gyms because I mean, you get a lot of tourism in Chiang Mai, just people stopping by. So yeah, there's some gyms just pretty focused on tourists. So make sure you select the right gym. So I mean, in terms of fighting, yeah, look, Chiang Mai might be one of the best areas in Thailand for fight opportunities. There's fights every single day of the week, aside from Sundays, and even some Sundays there'll be fights. So yeah, look, if you're at a good gym as well, there's opportunities to fight in festivals around northern Thailand, and these are really great experience. A lot of locals come out to watch, and yeah, you're fighting out in open air, like yeah, it really feels like you're experiencing like real Thailand. So yeah, if you get opportunity to fight at a festival, I do heavily recommend that. So what are the challenges of fighting in Chiang Mai? I mean, look, because of the sheer amount of fights in Chiang Mai, many fighters, Thai fighters, fight really regularly, and this means that they can tend to take a dive when they think they're in for a tough fight against a foreigner. Not all the time, but it does happen very frequently. I've been to hundreds of fights in Chiang Mai. I've been here for over a year now. I mean, and I probably go and watch Muay Thai at least once a week, and there's like 8 fights a night. So yeah, maybe seen 300 fights in Chiang Mai. So I can like spot when a Thai fighter is like taking a dive. Doesn't happen all the time, but very frequently. So that's something to be wary of. And if you're ready to like step up in level, to go from like the regional scene, the Chiang Mai scene, to like Bangkok, you need to be patient, because just in terms of geography, we're really far from Bangkok. So it's not that you can like just take a fight on really short notice and just pop over to Bangkok. No, it's got to be more calculated, and yeah, it's not that frequent. So bear that in mind. One thing I definitely say about Chiang Mai is that you need to make sure that you avoid coming here during burning season. Burning season is when the farmers in the surrounding areas in northern Thailand and some other countries, some bordering countries in Southeast Asia, they'll burn their crops. And what that means is all the fucking pollution in the air like just collects over Chiang Mai, because it's a mountainous region, so the mountains really trap the smoke, and it is really bad. I thought that it wouldn't be that bad. I thought it was just like foreigners crying over it. And then I was here for a bit, and I'm telling you, it was fucked. It was really bad. Horrible to train in, horrible to just go around with, like just walk around the street, horrible to drive your bike around. Your skin gets really bad. You feel really lethargic. Everyone's depressed. So yeah, don't come here during burning season. About March to May-ish. When did I leave? I left about like late March. That's when it started getting bad, and I came back beginning of May. So yeah, try and avoid Chiang Mai during that period. So my opinion on Chiang Mai, yeah, it's really perfect for someone who wants to lock in on training, and if they need to work online as well. Look, on this lovely co-working space, there's tons of co-working options in Chiang Mai for you to be earning remote income while you're training as well. So look, good training, fight opportunities, nature. It's what you want. Really, really great for growing as a person, as a fighter, as a business owner. So yeah, I really recommend it. It is quite slow pace at times, so maybe a little bit boring. But Chiang Mai, it's got the Isaac Nakmai stamp of approval, and yeah, I love the city. Now, Phuket. Phuket. I mean, a lot of people really think that Phuket is synonymous with training Muay Thai in Thailand. I think a lot of people are introduced to the whole concept of training Muay Thai in Thailand by Phuket because they have these massive gyms, these massive Instagram gyms. We've got Tiger, we've got AKA, we've got Cindy, these huge gyms, tons of Instagram followers, really heavy on YouTube. And it makes training in Thailand look really, really great. And look, these massive gyms, I mean, I'm not going to say that there's bad training going on there. No. If you're at a really high level, you could have a really great experience there because they've got a lot of fighters who are fighting in fighting RWS. So, I mean, it's really good for the top guys, similar to Bangkok. But if you are at the lower level, you might find it difficult to get the personalized experience that you need as a beginner or intermediate fighter, purely because there's just so many trainers and that they can't fucking spend all their time refining every person's individual technique. It's just too difficult for them. So you might not get the personalized attention that you need. There's plenty of fight opportunities in Phuket though. So Bangla Stadium is a famous one, tons of foreigner fights. But you might end up, there's a lot of foreigner on foreigner fights. Whereas in Chiang Mai, it's more foreigner v Thai. In Phuket, there's so many foreigners, a lot of foreigner v foreigner fights. So yeah, expect like a crazy war with some fucking jacked Russian. So yeah, what's some challenges about Phuket? I mean, tons of tourists, a lot of Russian tourists, nothing against them. I'm just saying that they're a big part of the Phuket population. Some signs even in Russian. Phuket's got a lot of distractions as well. I mean, a lot of people go there purely just to party, and it's because there's so many tourists, it can be expensive. So look, my recommendation, personally, I would give Phuket a miss. It's really expensive compared to other areas of Thailand. It's rammed with tourists, and it's not really like Thai. It's more of like a tourist destination. But look, if you're dying to go Phuket, I recommend like staying away from the massive Instagram gyms and try to find like a smaller, more authentic experience. So next up is Koh Samui. This is a real popular place for people to go to Thailand, train Muay Thai, live the digital nomad lifestyle, work online. And yeah, I mean, Samui is really nice. It's got some good gyms. It's got some tourist gyms. And yeah, I mean, I've been there. I spent about 6 weeks in Samui. I fought there twice. And you can definitely have a good time training and a good time working. It's got 3 stadiums, I believe, catering to various skill levels. The best one's Pet Buncha Stadium. And that has some really high-level fights. Pet Shindi has started promoting a televised show there monthly, which offers opportunities for skilled foreign fighters. They really like foreigners to be fighting on that show. I fought on that show twice. And Samui Super Series has some really high level fights. So yeah, you can get some really good fight opportunities in Koh Samui. I mean, some of its challenges are, I guess, similar to Phuket. I mean, look, the beach, partying, girls, you know how it is. And of course, because of the tourism, prices can be expensive. In my opinion, like if you want beach for your trip, Koh Samui is a good option because, yeah, you can combine good training with the whole beach experience. Just try and stay away from the degeneracy going on in Samui. But if we're locked in and we're training, I don't think it's that hard to stay on the straight and narrow. Also, if you're working remotely, so if you're working online or you've got a remote job, Samui is really good for that. They got some really good coffee shops, and they got some like one or two co-working spaces. But the co-working space in Samui, this place called Mantra, it's a resort, but it's also got a co-working space. It's fire. It's really nice. It's really nice. So yeah, Samui is a great option for people who want to train Muay Thai in Thailand. Next up is Pai. Now, this is maybe a more niche option. This is a village or a town about 3 hours from Chiang Mai. It's really popular with tourists, and it's only got a handful of Muay Thai gyms, but it really is an excellent spot for focus training. I trained in Pai for about 6 weeks, and yeah, I mean, look, morning runs around the beautiful scenery. It's a really, really unique and great training experience. In terms of fight opportunities, same with Chiang Mai, because like all the fights are in Chiang Mai. But you do have opportunities for some festivals around northern Thailand. So Chiang Rai, Mae Hong Song, and Pai actually has started to host some festival fights every so often. And these are really great experiences. So yeah, Pai can be good. The training is not so high level, but it's a good option if you want to just lock in and be in like the beauty of northern Thailand. Its challenges, because it's got so many tourists, there's parties all the time and there's a lot of hippies. So that can distract from your training. And there's only a couple of gyms. So take that into account. It's a good option. Pai is the first place I went to when I decided to train Muay Thai in Thailand. I was there for about 6 weeks and yeah, I had a great experience. I had my first fight in Chiang Mai. So look, my overall opinion, it's a beautiful place if you can focus and tune out the external distractions. However, the significant tourist presence can really diminish its appeal unless you can really just lock in and stay dedicated. If you're like at a Bangkok level, like you're pro, I don't think Pai is really the right place because it's a real mission to get to Bangkok. So take that into account. Next up is Pattaya. So Pattaya, or Pattaya as some people pronounce it, I don't really know, I just say Pattaya. It's got some really, really serious and high level training, similar to Bangkok, as good as Bangkok. At least there's a couple of gyms that are really, really elite level. Fairtex Training Centre and Venom Training Camp. You definitely heard of these if you're into Muay Thai because they have so many good fighters. They're fighting on one and RDUS and they're like the top guys. I mean, of course that's a benefit, but it can be a negative too because if you're not at that level, they're not really interested in developing you. So you can look for a smaller gym in Pattaya perhaps. And they do have those smaller gyms that are also really good. In terms of fight opportunities, yeah, you've got good access to, of course, One and RWS. There's Mad Max Muay Thai, not Mad Max, Max Muay Thai, which is a good promotion as well. That's Pattaya based. And Fairtex Fight. If you're training at Fairtex Training Centre, you have good access to Fairtex Fight, which is an excellent promotion to like get you like introduced to the whole Bangkok scene if you're not ready for One. So a lot of people, they'll fight at Fairtex Fight and then they'll get to One. So yeah, it's a good pathway. There's a few stadiums in Pattaya as well for lower level fights. So yeah, it can be a great opportunity. Some challenges with Pattaya. It's got a well-deserved seedy reputation. It's got sex tourism, it's got scams. And there's a lot of that going on. A lot of people come to Pattaya, a lot of old men just like to find young Thai women to have sex with, unfortunately. It's just the dark reality of Thailand in some areas. And Pattaya really, really does personify that negative reputation. So yeah, I mean, look, personally, I'd recommend staying away from Pattaya unless you're like an extremely high level fighter and you're training at Venom or Fairtex and you want to compete at ONE or RWS. You can find some smaller gyms with really high level training, but I mean, you can find a more positive environment for high level training that doesn't involve all this negative stuff going on around you. So, I mean, that's my opinion on Pattaya, but some people go there and have a great time. So it's up to you. Next up is Isan. Now, Isan really has a fantastic history of producing some of the best fighters in Muay Thai. The training is so authentic. It's driven by a use of Muay Thai as a means to escape poverty. It's the poorest area in Thailand, and I guess a challenge that is linked to that is that no one really speaks English, and there's a very small number of foreigners. This does mean that it's not suitable for absolute beginners. You can go, you can try your best, but they won't speak English. Up to you. Maybe you'll sink or you'll swim. So if you want a real adventure, just go straight to Isan. It's really also got poor remote working infrastructure because not that many digital nomads head to Isan. But it's got amazing fight opportunities. Weekly festival fights, even sometimes nightly fights going on. Yeah, real great platform to build experience. And these fights are 100% not fixed because there's gambling. So you can go have a fucking scrap like any other week, basically, and have a real scrap and build up that fight experience before you head to Bangkok. So look, my opinion on Isan, it's a real good place to focus fully on Muay Thai if you really want to lock in. If you want that real Thai experience, I've had a fight in Isan and it was a really good experience. English is low, so if you don't speak any Thai, you need to learn some Thai basically. So yeah, I mean, if you're an absolute beginner, you never been to Thailand before, never trained Muay Thai before, it might be difficult, but it's not impossible. I also briefly want to talk about monk mode. So I'm sure most of you know what monk mode is when you go and just lock in for a bit. And if you want to go and do monk modes in Thailand, there's some secluded areas that could be really great from that. I had a look and I'm going to give you three options. I think just take into account that remote working infrastructure might be pretty low, so you might have to work from your room. Or a coffee shop that isn't open late. But so here are three places that you can go do monk mode. One is called Khao Ya Tiang. So this is a beautiful mountain range, refreshing, vibrant atmosphere. It's near Isan, I believe, yeah, in between Bangkok and Isan. And it's home to a really great gym called Kem Muay Thai. It's very highly rated. And it had some really great fighters there. Yodwitcher grew up there and trained there, and it turned him into a champion. So I really would recommend checking out that gym. I haven't been myself, but I really want to go. It's definitely on the list. A second place to do monk mode is called Koh Yao Noi. Now it's a beautiful rural island near Phuket. It's got a 90% Muslim population. So this means that like there's not really much alcohol consumption. And there's a gym called KYN Gym, and it's literally on the beach. And yeah, the gym is really beautiful. So that's a great place to go and do monk mode. And finally, Chiang Dao. Now this is about an hour and a half from Chiang Mai, and this is a really beautiful place. I love Chiang Dao. Beautiful scenery, beautiful mountains, and I could only find one Muay Thai gym, and it didn't even have a name. So if you feel like a real mission, just drive there and pull up and ask around. It's only an hour's drive from Chiang Mai, and yeah, you might find a hidden gem. So yeah, those are my three recommendations if you want to go and do monk mode in Thailand. So once you have decided what area of Thailand you want to train in, it's time to choose a gym. So look, I'd say choose the area first because there's quality gyms all around Thailand. And yeah, then you decide what gym you want to train at. So look, Some green flags for gyms, I'd say, are lots of clinching, active fighters who aren't trainers, though they might help out with holding pads. The gym focuses on technique. The gym has regular running for fighters. There's younger fighters who train in the gym, live at the gym, and there's Thai kids who come and train after school. They're all green flags. I'm not going to explain each one in detail because we'd be here all evening and it's late in Chiang Mai. But yeah, just trust me on that. Red flags: no clinching, no mandated running, the gym doing HIIT workouts, short and minimal pad rounds, beginners going crazy hard and sparring, foreign fighters winning belts every week, fighters not fighting in like non-tourist shows. So I mean, by non-tourist shows, I mean like Bangkok, festivals, like stadiums in rural Thailand. So yeah, those are the red flags. So how can we spot these green flags, these red flags? I mean, look, check a gym's social media to get a flavour for what they're about. If they don't have Instagram, they probably have a Facebook page. I mean, I told you about Instagram gyms, so they might not have that many followers, but them not having that many followers is actually like a green flag in itself. Reddit is a really good way to like check out a gym, so you can type in the gym's name and Reddit at the end, see if anyone's mentioned it. Just type in, for example, Chiang Mai gyms Reddit, and people have been talking about it for ages. There'll be tons and tons of recommendations for gyms. So yeah, utilize Reddit. What I recommend to do is when you get to the area you want to stay in Thailand, so you come to Chiang Mai, you come to Koh Samui, try out these gyms. Like do one class at each. So make a short list and then just hit them, because different people have different experiences. There's different trainers. There's different groups of foreigners at different times. So I mean, you don't want to commit to a long-term stay at a gym and then you end up not liking it. This also does allow you to like ease your way into training. So you're like kind of just like slowly building your fitness up, because if you're just going for a day class, they're not going to like train you that crazy. So yeah, just check them out. Don't pay for more than a month in advance up front, because what if you get injured? Shit can happen, and you don't want that awkward conversation of having to ask for a refund. So yeah, a few factors I'd consider when I'm selecting a gym is, are you a complete beginner? Because if you are, like a smaller fight-orientated gym might not be the most appropriate gym for you. What's your personality type? If you go to a smaller gym, there might not be other foreigners for you to make friends with. What do you want out of training? Do you want to make friends and party? Maybe choose a bigger gym. And where is it located? Yeah, we touched on that in great detail in the previous section. But where you're located in Thailand does make a big difference. I've got a list of all my gym recommendations. I'm not going to go through them on this video. But if you look, linked below, you can get all my gym recommendations for absolutely free. Yeah, just hit the link, and there's about 30 or so gyms there, smaller gyms, authentic gyms, in a variety of places in Thailand. So yeah, check it out and enjoy. So you've chosen what area in Thailand you want to go to. You've selected a few gyms you want to try out when you get there. How do you prepare for your trip? I mean, it's really important that you set a realistic goal in advance. So, I mean, look, if your objective is to fight multiple times or simply just enjoy training, try and align your actions with these goals. So if you're coming to fight, don't end up fucking partying the entire time. Yeah, just stay on your path that you agreed with yourself prior to coming. It's also really important to arrive in good physical shape. If you're not in good physical shape, you're going to end up dying on the pads while you're here. And how are you going to learn if you're just fucking struggling to get through each session? So I'd say don't try and use your Thailand trip to get into like peak physical fitness. Get into peak physical fitness before you come to Thailand, and that gives you a better opportunity to refine your technique. So yeah, get your cardio on point, start running before you come to Thailand, especially if you're going to fight, because a serious gym will make you run. So just get used to that. I'd say before you come, run 3-4 times a week, about 5K, then run 10K once a week. You'll run more in Thailand, but you don't want to just start burdening yourself out before you even get to Thailand. So this will give you a good base. And then when you get to Thailand, you can really kick on and get that next gear of fitness. So what do you need to bring to Thailand? I mean, technically you can arrive with nothing, but I'd advise to bring a few items. One would be an international driver's license. This is not mandatory. I mean, like tons of people in Thailand don't have them. But if you have an international driver's license, what you can do in this international driver's license is like get a stamp for a motorbike, even if you don't drive a motorbike. It just lets you drive a motorbike in other countries. I'm not really sure the details on it. And this helps you avoid a fine if you get pulled over by the police. It's super cheap. You can get one from the UK post office if you're in the UK for about £5. All you need is an actual driver's license. You don't need a motorbike license to get this motorbike stamp or this motorbike circle. If you don't have one, it's not the end of the world. The fine from police is 500 baht, which is about £10, £12, about $15. So yeah, like not the end of the world if you get pulled by the police. They just give you a ticket, you pay them, and on your way. Gloves and shin guards. Look, you can bring them from home. You can buy them out here. I recommend probably buy them out here if you're staying for a while. They're much cheaper out here. So much cheaper. You can get some gloves about 1,500 baht, 2,000 baht, which is about 35 to 40 pounds, and shin guards are around the same price. So yeah, just get them out here, to be honest. Unless you've got some really nice gloves that you have already, but you can get them out for cheap, and then you've got more gloves, and you don't have to carry them on the plane, which can be a bit of a ball ache. Mouth guard, hand wraps, again, you can buy them out here. One thing that is difficult to buy out here, not impossible, depends where you're going, but a good pair of running shoes. So having a good pair of running shoes is really essential for road work and general training. So yeah, if you got a good pair, bring them with you, because you're going to be running every single fucking day if you want to fight. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great investment. So if you don't have a good pair of running shoes, I'd say get some before you come to Thailand. I'd also recommend bringing a couple cards. By cards, I mean like debit cards to get money with, because ATMs in Thailand randomly just swallow your card for no reason. And in the UK and in America and the West, they give you the cash first. No, they give you the card first and then the cash. So you don't end up just taking the cash and going. In Thailand, for some reason, they give you the cash first and then the card. Now, this means that some people, even myself, will just take the cash and then forget the cards. So it happens. So yeah, have a couple of cards just in case. It's always good just to err on the side of caution. Also, have proof of an onward flight. If you're coming to Thailand for longer than a month, you're supposed to show that you're going to leave the country within the allotted time, even though you're allowed to extend it. Immigration is just fucking stupid. So you need a flight leaving Thailand. What you can do is buy a refundable ticket to somewhere like Vietnam, and then show them the ticket when you get to Thailand. If they ask, it's not the people asking when you get to Thailand. It's typically the airlines before you even get on the flight. They'll be the ones asking for this. There's also some websites which can like generate you like a fake onward travel, but I mean, the ramifications of getting caught with that, not so good. Well, I don't even know if it's fake. Maybe they do actually buy the ticket and then they refund it themselves. I'm not sure, but there's websites that you can't actually fly with this onward ticket. They just give you something that shows you an onward ticket. Whether they buy it or not, I'm not really sure the details. So yeah, just buy a cheap ticket to Vietnam, Cambodia, and look, you can go, or you can just refund it. Yeah, so make sure you have that. So visas. Now the visa situation can be pretty complex. There's always frequently changing regulations and rules. I'm giving you the info I have on today, the 19th of July, 2024. So there's tons of visas, but I'm just going to tell you what I think you should get. All right? If you come to Thailand for under 6 months and you're from the UK, EU, USA, don't get a visa. Just use the visa exemption scheme. It's a stamp in your passport. You come to Thailand and you get 60 days in Thailand, just like that. Don't have to do anything. Just turn up. After the 60 days are over, you can go to immigration and you can extend for another 30 days. So then you've got 90 days in Thailand and you haven't had to do anything. You haven't had to apply for any visas. All you've had to pay is 1,800 baht to extend your visa at immigration. The process to extend your visa is pretty simple. You just go to immigration, you complete a form, you pay the fee, and you get a stamp. Boom. It can take a little while because there's a lot of people in immigration at times, but yeah, pretty simple process. I'd advise you to arrive early and apply early. So look, shit happens. Like, you don't want to go on the last day of your validity because yeah, shit can happen. I don't know. Maybe immigration's full. Maybe you crash your bike on the way, and then look, you've overstayed. Or maybe there's a public holiday and immigration's shut. Like, shit happens. So give it a couple of days. But even if you do extend it in advance, you still get the complete amount of time as if you had extended it on the very last day. So I don't think you're missing out on any time. Don't sweat about needing to photocopy, share, or take a photo. There's stuff that there's places you can do that at the immigration. They've got all that covered. And if you overstay your visa, look, it's not the end of the world. It's about 500 baht a day. Well, not about. It is 500 baht a day for each day you overstay your visa. So they're not gonna fucking kick you out of the country if you're a couple of days over, but don't overstay because it doesn't reflect well on your records if you want to apply for a longer term visa. Now, when your visa expires, so you've had 3 months, what you can do is a border run. And now this is just a short trip out of Thailand and back in. And then, yeah, you've got an extra, it just resets. So you can do it at another 90 days with the process that I just explained. And bam, you've had 6 months in Thailand and you haven't had to apply for any visa. And look, it's really great for people who don't want to stay longer than 6 months. You can go for another border run, but you're technically only supposed to do 2 a year via land. And immigration don't like people abusing border runs. So like, once you start spamming border runs, you're putting yourself at the mercy of immigration. So if you want to stay longer than 6 months, go for a longer term visa. And now that leads me very nicely to talk about a longer term visa option. Now, there's tons of options again, but I'm going to tell you what I think you should get. And a longer term visa option is an education visa. And this is for foreigners who want to study in the country. Look, you can learn Thai language. That's what I do. And yeah, I mean, you learn Thai and you get to stay in Thailand and you don't have to leave the country to do any visa runs. So it's really great. Thai is good to integrate in the culture, meet new people, have better relationships, both platonic relationships and romantic relationships. And it's pretty easy to find a school. You can actually study online, so you don't have to physically go into school as well. So an education visa is a great option. You can actually get a Muay Thai education visa, but I don't recommend this because the best Muay Thai gyms don't offer these visas, and you're locked into the school because you've paid the school lots of money and they include classes too. So if you want to try a different gym, you're just wasting your money because you're paying now twice. There is a new visa called the Destination Thailand visa. This visa is not actually out yet. They've been saying they're going to release it. And on the surface, this visa looks really, really great. It's aimed at digital nomads and people who want to come to Thailand to do things like Muay Thai. But it's not as formal as a Muay Thai visa, which is like linked for a school and you've got to take photos, you do Muay Thai, etc., etc., etc. The Destination Thailand visa, you can stay in Thailand for 6 months and then you can renew it for another 6 months and then you've got to leave and then you can come back for a total of 5 years. You've got to pay 10,000 baht every 6 months, I believe. So that's about £250. So for £500 a year, you're just basically getting the opportunity to live in Thailand without having to leave. So really, really great. Not actually out yet. Today is 19th of July, but they've been talking about it for ages, and it's looking very official soon. So hopefully, if you're watching this video in August, in September, or any time in the future, you'll be able to get this visa. So when you get to Thailand, of course, you're going to need a place to stay. So you've got two options. You've got option of staying on site at your gym's accommodation or staying off site in a condo, in an apartment, in a house, in a bungalow. And look, both got their advantages and disadvantages. I'll talk about gym accommodation first. So look, the gym accommodation, it gives you convenient access to training facilities. You can really make friends with the other fighters, the other trainers, and you're really reducing the likelihood of you missing training because you're at the gym already. But these accommodations are usually more expensive than external options, and you can maybe be limited a little bit to gym-related activities and interactions. And maybe you got the potential to miss out on some broader cultural experiences. Now and then, on the other hand, there's external accommodation. Now, these can be more affordable or they can be more expensive, but what you have is more options. And it also gives you a chance to explore beyond the gym, experience local life, and you get an opportunity to meet like a real diverse group of people outside the gym. So you can integrate yourself into Thai culture a bit better. But on the other hand, look, you're not at the gym anymore. You're not staying at the gym. Your likelihood of missing training due to distance or transportation issues it's greater. So it requires much more self-discipline to focus on training, and you can maybe feel a bit isolated because you're in a random city, in some random apartment block, you don't know anyone. So that's definitely something to take into account. How do you find accommodation, external accommodation? So if you're staying for a short amount of time, Agoda is a really good option. It's a website. And yeah, they got competitive rates on hotels and guest houses. I mean, they're always claiming that it's like 50% off, but that's just the price. Airbnb, it can be pricier. But if you're staying in Airbnb, see if you can negotiate directly with the host for a discount. Maybe save yourself a bit of cash. For longer stays of a month plus, Facebook is your ally. So each area in Thailand will have like a Facebook group where people are renting property. So type in the area name and accommodation, and yeah, multiple groups should pop up. That's how I found my place. And yeah, it's easy. You can find something really nice in wherever you're staying in Thailand on Facebook. So now you've made it to Thailand. What is the training like? I mean, it is a really amazing, diverse, immersive experience. Yes, crazy, crazy. Training in Thailand is really a unique experience, and I recommend that everyone do it in their life if you're into Muay Thai. But what does an actual training routine look like? Well, I mean, it depends if you're a fighter or if you're just more a beginner. But I'll tell you, I feel like most people do have aspirations of fighting at some point. So I'll tell you what it's like if you're a fighter. So training will be twice a day, in the morning and the afternoon, and morning sessions will typically include a run followed by a lighter training session. Some gyms may incorporate pad work in the morning, but most don't, especially if you're at a fighter gym, because kicking pads twice a day can be too difficult on your hips and your legs, and you don't really end up training well in the afternoon if you kick pads hard in the morning session. And then the afternoon session will typically involve a lighter run or even no run, and then pad work. Sparring and clinching frequency really depends on the gym's culture. Some gyms encourage daily clinching and sparring, while others have set days for these activities. So it does really depend on the gym, but typically you'll be sparring quite often. The sparring is typically light and technical. It's aimed at skill development rather than proving strength. Hard sparring does occur in Thailand sometimes though, but it's context specific, so it should always be controlled. So sparring is really seen as a learning tool. It's not a fight. Remember this, sparring is not a fight. And the emphasis is on technique and movement rather than brute force and aggression. Foreigners trading in Thailand, if you're just starting out, avoid the hard sparring and just see what the culture of the gym's at. But boxing sparring can get hard. My coach was like 1000% boxing sparring. He's asking people to spar hard. So don't think it's just all light and technical. There's a misconception that sparring in Thailand is just play. No, I've seen some hard sparring. And Thais doing it too. It's not just foreigners. So keep that in mind. I really want to stress the importance though of rest and recovery. You don't have to fucking train yourself into the absolute ground. Like, be cautious of the signs of overtraining. Many coaches don't understand the concept of overtraining. So if you're feeling run down, you can miss a session, or you can do some mobility work, do some strength conditioning, so you're not feeling lazy. To give you some context, my training schedule, obviously I'm a fighter. I don't train twice a day, every single day. Typically every other day I'll do strength conditioning or mobility. And then if I've got a fight coming up, okay, yeah, nice, I'll ramp it up, like just twice a day, Muay Thai, but mixing the strength conditioning and mobility as well. And that's a good mix for me, I found, because it gives me good recovery and allows me to really perform at my best. So yeah, just make sure you listen to your body. How much does it all cost? I'm sure you're wondering though. I mean, the cost of training really varies on the gym and the package training. But typically for one session or one off, you've been looking at like 400, 500 baht, so about £10, £11, £12. And then a month will be about 7,000 baht, 7,500 baht for one session a day. If you're going for twice a day, it can be around 800 baht, up to 1,000 baht some places. And then for a month, you're probably looking, average price about 10,000 baht. I mean, it does range a bit. Bangkok is a bit more expensive. Chiang Mai should be a bit cheaper. Isan, much cheaper. But that's a rough estimate of how much it will cost per month to train in Thailand. Hygiene, look guys, stay clean. There's a lot of skin infections in Thailand because it's just, gyms aren't very clean. Sweat, body contact. So make sure you shower straight after you train. I'm always shower at the gym. Yeah, just make sure and keep your cuts covered as well to avoid infections. Just a quick note on gym sponsorship. So, I mean, a lot of people aspire to be sponsored by a gym. That means you don't pay for training, you're sponsored by the gym. But just a word of warning, if you're sponsored by the gym can kind of own you. So like, if the gym says you fight, you fight. Sometimes you've got to hold pads. If the gym wants you to fight on a certain promotion and you don't want to, you've got to do what the gym says. And I mean, this is more a Thai issue. But like, when you're a sponsored fighter, like, you can't really just leave gyms. Because there's so many politics. There's so much politics in Muay Thai in Thailand. This is more of a Thai issue, I'd say. People have been banned from fighting because they want to change gyms. But it can happen to foreigners too. So just be wary if you're becoming a sponsored fighter. Ask other sponsored fighters what it's like, etc., etc. Sponsoring is more common down south, like Phuket, Koh Samui. It's much easier to get sponsored by a gym. But foreigners do get sponsored in Chiang Mai as well. but just be cautious before you just sign the contract. Now, fighting in Thailand. Fighting in Thailand is really the most unique experience maybe in the world. I don't know. I can't really think of any sort of fighting scene like it. It's pure nonsense. Opponent changes, venue changes, weight changes, date changes. The fight scene is pure chaos. If you're not fighting in Bangkok, it's really just madness. The ring is wet. There's ice everywhere. Thai uncles are feeding you up. You're waiting to fight at like 2 a.m. Anything can happen. But so my advice would be just control what you can, focus on what you can control, your mindset, and don't book any flights around your fight because fights get cancelled and moved all the time. There's a few types of fights in Thailand. There's stadium fights. So, I mean, like these are the most like competitive Muay Thai events. So stadiums like Lumpini, Raja, and Bangkok, like these are known for like the top level fights. Best fighters from around the country and the world. But these stadiums are actually more accessible for lower level fighters due to promotions like Knockout and Fairtex Fight. So you can actually fight at these stadiums that used to be reserved for like the best fighters, even if you're having your first fight. There's also other top stadiums in Bangkok, Channel 7, Jit Muanggon, Rangsit, but these ones are more for Thais only. Now, there's also tourist shows. Now, these events are more tailored toward tourists, and they take place in tourist destinations like Phuket, Pattaya, Chiang Mai. So, Bangla Boxing Stadium, Max Muay Thai Stadium, Kalare Stadium. They host fights that are really accessible to a wider audience. And the fight cards will be typically full of international fighters. So the atmosphere here can be pretty vibrant, and the level can really, really range. You get people having their first fight and they're like a really beginner, they're trying to fight, or you can have some like top level, like Bangkok level fighters, and then everything in between. And you do get some Thais taking a dive at these fights, though. So yeah, it is what it is. And then finally, there's festival and temple fights. I put them both in the same category. So these are traditional experiences. They're pretty culturally rich, and they occur during local festivals or at temple grounds, and they're deeply rooted in Thai culture. They're less about a commercial spectacle and more about the community and spiritual aspects of Muay Thai. Fighters at these events typically will be at a bit of a lower level than, or maybe not typically, they will be at a low level than stadium fighters, because where people get experience. So there'll be a lot of young fighters having their first fights, tons of kids, but foreigners can fight too. So if you have an opportunity to fight at a festival, I'd really recommend. I fought at 2 festivals, and yeah, amazing experience. You've been outdoor, under the stars, all Thai people, gambling, yes, real Muay Thai. So if you're given an opportunity, seize that with 2 hands. Now, how are these fights scored? So the scoring system in Thailand can be really difficult for a Westerner to grasp. I've done a whole video on this before, and I'll link it in the top. But it's not scored per round, even though some promotions do score this way. For example, 1 RWS. I'd say imagine it like a racehorse with 1 pulling ahead. Like some you do a big score like this. Yeah, so techniques like body kicks, knees, elbows, sweeps score highly. Punches and low kicks can typically score a bit lower. But yeah, I've got a whole video on this, so I'll link it. Check it out, because I can go on for a long time about how Muay Thai fights in Thailand are scored. It's a bit different to scoring in the West. Make sure after you fight that you tip your cornerman. Just give him a couple $100. They'll appreciate it. Not the gym boss or someone senior, but the guys who are giving you the massage in the fight and giving you the massage pre-fight. But it does depend on the culture of the gym. But yeah, I'll just give the guys a couple $100, say thank you for helping me out, and yeah, they appreciate it. If you do get hurt in your fight, because you're fighting, and you need to go to hospital, your insurance will not cover it. So you didn't hear this from me, but what you can do is that you can change normal clothing and say that you fell down the stairs or something like that. Because if you say that you had a Muay Thai fight and that's the reason why you've got a broken nose. Your insurance is not paying for your hospital trip. So, touch wood, I've never had anything like that happen to me, but if something like that happens to you, just something to bear in mind. I'm not telling you to do it, though. I'm just letting you know what your insurance will and will not cover. It's not legal advice. So if you fight, you might have to weigh in. You might not have to weigh in. It depends on where you're fighting. So if you're fighting in Bangkok, yeah, I mean, the majority of fights will be weigh-ins. It can be day before on the bigger promotions like One and RDBS, or same day. Same day is pretty common in Thailand. Bangkok, most fights be same day. Samui, same day. Phuket, same day. Yeah, and I mean, if you're in Chiang Mai, if you're in Isan, there's not really much of a weigh-in culture. What they'll do is just like check that you're not too far apart in weight. They'll just get you to stand next to each other and they'll be like, okay, let's fight. But yeah, you often will fight someone bigger than you, fight someone smaller than you. I've done both. It's just part of fighting in Thailand, and really why it's great to fight in the regional scene first, because you can gain that experience of fighting someone bigger than you. Like, look, when you're in the big leagues, you might be fighting someone who's cut a tremendous amount of weight and they weigh much more than you on fight night. Well, if you've had that experience on a regional show, then yeah, you've gone through it already. Just one thing to note, that missing weight is not an option. If you're weighing, of course, if you're fighting in Chiang Mai, Isan or whatever, and you don't have a weigh-in, you have to worry about that. But if you're fighting in Bangkok, Samui, and you got to check weight, you're not going to miss weight. If you want to fight, and I mean you can't, it'd be pretty strange for you to pull out of the fight. You have to make sure that you hit the weight. So if you turn up to the stadium and you turn up overweight, they will make you run around the stadium in a sweatsuit. This isn't actually a bad thing. It's not really frowned upon. It's just part of the game. And many fighters actually choose to turn up to the stadium a bit overweight and then run in the sweatsuit because, yeah, they just rather just do it in the morning and have a good night's sleep. So for those of you who want to stay in Thailand long term, you're going to need a source of income. Now, if you're coming here without any sort of online income, any sort of job, any sort of business, I would recommend that you come with at least $10,000 saved up. This way you can be comfortable while you're working on a source of income. Now, whether you get a remote job or you get online business is up to you. I mean, look, having an online business is definitely the way to have the most flexibility in your life and have the most control of your time and your freedom, which you can fit around training. But I do appreciate that not everyone has the skills or the experience to start an online business, start a profitable online business immediately. So what I'll do is I'll talk about some remote job options and then I'll talk about online business to really give you guys like the whole spectrum, just to aid you in your quest for that Wi-Fi money, because that's what we all want, Wi-Fi money. So look, yeah, we all know what online job is. You mean you don't have to fucking go to the office. And there's tons of ways of actually getting online jobs that people aren't too familiar with. I'll just list a few online jobs boards. So there's remote.co. This platform lists jobs online. Of course, flex jobs. We work remotely. And yeah, I mean, look, you can type in, you can all use a fucking jobs boards site. So I'm not going to go into detail, but yeah, just like search things like remote, telecommute, work from home, and then yeah, go for your remote job. There's also social media. Now, Facebook has groups and pages dedicated to remote work and to being a digital nomad. So these, yeah, you just post in them. I've actually hired people from these groups, so they're not fake. And yeah, these platforms can provide job leads and networking opportunities. So a few of them I've seen on Facebook: remote/part-time jobs, pretty simple. It's a Facebook group. Digital nomad jobs, cold callers and closers, high ticket closers and setters. One thing I'd say with Facebook, be cautious of scammers. So if anyone asks you for money at any point, decline. Now, okay, so online jobs can be useful if you need some sort of income, and yeah, really great to earn money from a company that is not based in Thailand, so they pay you in pounds, in dollars, in euros, and you can spend it in baht, so yeah, you can live good. But look, let's say you don't want a job, you come to Thailand for freedom. Well, you're in the right place. But what you need is an online skill. So there's tons and tons of ways to make money online. So many different ways. And I feel like people in the West don't really appreciate all the ways that people can make money online. Once you get to a place like Thailand and you meet people working in all shapes and forms, you do get an appreciation that there's so many different ways of making money online. So I'm gonna list a few. I can't list them all because there's so many fucking ways of making money online. But I'll list a few, and you can go away and you can do your own research and look into them and see if any of them tickle your fancy. So we've got remote sales, we've got article writing, we've got search engine optimization, we've got copywriting, we've got social media management, we've got graphic design, we've got web development, we've got digital marketing, and we've got social media. And by social media, I mean your own personal brand. Now, I actually believe this is the best way to make money online, to live in Thailand, to fit very nicely around training Muay Thai. Because when you're making money for your own social media, you are completely in control of your time, and you're basically being paid to be yourself. And yeah, that's what I do. It's really great because every time I go to training, I'm making content. So it's not just I'm going training and I've got to switch off and go back to work. No, training is work. So I'm basically being paid just to go training and make Instagram reels about my training. So it's pretty great. For fighters or people who train in Muay Thai, it can be hard to establish a personal brand if you don't really know what you're doing. I think a lot of people post on social media, but they're not posting in the correct way. You need to make sure that you're posting engaging content and content that is giving your audience value, your followers value. So you could be posting things like fight preparation, behind the scenes, to your training, to your weight cuts, fitness tips. If you do this consistently, you can attract a substantial following. I mean, I've been posting for about 6 months. I've got about 70,000 followers. And I'm teaching guys in my network, the Ninth Limb, how to post on social media. One of our guys, he's been posting for about 2 months, 2.5 months, and he's on 27,000 followers right now. So yeah, if you apply the blueprint that I give the guys, you can really blow up on social media. I'm linking my community down below in the links. So if you want to start earning money on social media, I definitely recommend you take a look at our community, the Ninth Limb. Now, if you want to enhance your experience in Thailand, it's really important that you learn some basic Thai phrases. So I'll just give you a few of the basics that you can just go away and practice. Just be polite to Thai people, and you can have better friends and better relationships if you speak at least a little bit of Thai. So what's really important in Thailand is using what is known as a polite particle. And this is what you put at the end of a sentence to just make it polite. So if you're male, you say kap at the end of a sentence, and a woman, you say ka. So to say hello, it's sawadi kap. Sawadi kap. Hello, politeness. Pretty simple, and yeah, just slap that at the end of every sentence, and yeah, people will think you're a polite young man. The polite particle can also just be used as acknowledgement. So let's say your coach tells you to do something, you should be like, "Cap." Yeah, they're like, okay, he understands it, he knows what you're talking about. Another important word is the word "mai." Now, this turns a sentence into a question or word. So for example, pet means spicy. If you go at the market and you ask someone, pet mai, it means spicy, question mark. But this word mai is almost a super word. If you place it before the word or the sentence, it turns it into a negative sentence. So you can ask someone, pet mai, spicy, question mark, is it spicy? And they'll respond saying, my pet, it's not spicy. Or you can say to the auntie at the vendor stall, at the stall, my pet, cup, not spicy, polite. So yeah, that's just some of the unique grammar in Thai language. And now I'll just run you through just a few basic words. So sawadi means hello, kopun cup means thank you, chai means yes, my chai means no, sabaidi mai means how are you, sabaidi means I'm good. To say goodbye is bye bye, or you can say sawadi, or you can even say lagon, but that's quite formal. Kun means you. It's quite a formal way of addressing someone. And some common queries to remember is Hong Nam, Uti Nai, is where is the bathroom? Tao Lai means how much. It's quite a formal way of saying it. Ki Baht means how much baht, and it's a common way of asking the price. And Katod means excuse me / sorry. If you're going out to eat or you're ordering food and you want to order something, say ao, which means I want. So you can say ao gai, I want chicken. Gai means chicken. Ahan means food. Nam means water. Pet means spicy. My pet means not spicy. Wan means sweet. My one means not sweet. Bogati means normal. So let's say you want to have normal amount of sugar. Bogati 1. Ron means hot. So if you're asking for a coffee and they'll be like, you order it and they're like, Ron mai? So they're saying hot, question. Say Ron, hot. Now means cold. Or we say yen, which means cold as well. Aloy means delicious. And finally, for you degenerates out there, bia means beer. All right, thank you for taking the time to watch and listen to my guide to training Muay Thai in Thailand. If you've got any questions, I haven't covered something, or you're not sure about anything, leave a comment and I'll get back to you in the comments. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. If you want to join the Ninth Limb, which is my community for people who train combat sports and also make money online, take a look at our website down below. If you've got any questions about the Ninth Limb, feel free to drop me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But thank you for watching and listening to this guide, and I'll see you on the next video.